Allegri has evolved his tactics, and Milan are beginning to look like the real deal. I know every single Milan fan has a smile on their face, but what am I really talking about? A Milan team that in phase 1 sets up in a 5-3-2, a Milan team that in phase 2 sets up in the 4-4-2, and a Milan team that in phase 3 sets up in the 3-2-5. This tactical evolution is helping Allegri get the most out of some of these Milan players. In this video, we will break down the tactics, we will break down the goals, and we will break down who Allegri's main man in attack is, and how this new position for the main man is a game changer. Now, if you're new, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, engage in the comments. Who's impressed you the most during the preseason camp? Let's get into it. Okay, let's talk tactics, football tactics. When it comes to Allegri, when it comes to Milan, these changes and how it's beginning to actually make Milan look like a very good team. 1, out of possession, and 2, on the attack. Like, it's genuinely showing a different side to some of their plays. And this is a Milan team that's only, 2-3 weeks into preseason. There's still so many more new players that they need to integrate, that they need to sign. Listen, Rome wasn't built in a day, but at the moment, it's positive. It's really, really, really positive. Now, Allegri, the notorious 5-3-2, he's still deploying it at Milan, but it's now beginning to come in different shapes and different forms and different stages. 5-3-2, when Milan are defending their own box and the opposition are in their half, applying pressure, Milan set up in the 5-3-2. Now, as soon as Milan get into that second phase, the midfield part, they move away from the 5-3-2. They now set up in this 4-4-2. How does this happen? The simple change. Salamakers goes from being deployed as a right wing back into now becoming a right winger, with Loftus-Cheek and Rafeal Leao leading the line. It becomes a 4-4-2. But do you know what's so good about this 4-4-2? It's so compact. Like, for example, Sergio Conceição also deployed the 4-4-2 at Milan last season in this area. The reason why Milan looked so open and why they were conceding so many opportunities is the fact that it wasn't compact. The players weren't close to one another. There was so much space in between the lines. You could see from these photos. Look at how compact these players is. And it's a 4-4-2, not a 4-4-2 low block. No, it's a 4-4-2 mid block. You could see they suffocate the second phase of the pitch. Okay, so now what happens when they get into the opposition's half? This is where I like to say with Allegri, there is a structure, there is fluidity, but at the same time, there is relationism. And I've made a video about this 1-2 months ago, breaking it down. Allegri in the final third wants to give these players freedom of expression. But there's one player, as much as he gives them freedom, he also gives them a certain type of instruction. And I genuinely feel like it's getting the most out of him, it's getting the most out of his teammates, it's getting the most out of the team as a whole because of how unique his profile is in that position. But in the final third, against Liverpool, I saw Milan set up in the 3-2-5. At times, I saw them set up in the 3-3-4, where one of the midfielders would sit. They were chopping and changing, depending on the opposition, depending on the situation. This is what Allegri wants. I will implement the structure when it comes to playing out of the back. I will implement the structure when it comes to defending. But in the final third, I just want to improve you guys as individuals. Your ability to play with one another. Your ability to strike the ball from outside the box. Your ability to create opportunities for yourself. But I'm not going to sit down and treat you like robots and tell you when you get the ball, give it to him. He gives it to him. He gives it back to me. He gives it to him. No. Do what you feel is best. And it's beginning to make this Milan team look, one, so unpredictable in the final third. But it's a good unpredictable. It gives them that advantage because the opposition truly don't know what they're about to do. And because of that, they're going to score a lot of goals. Now, we have to talk about the main man, Rafael Leao. Now, it's become crystal clear. He is Allegri's main man. And Allegri is looking at him and saying, you could offer so much more, but it's all about putting you in the right place at the right time and allowing you to master that position. Now, of course, when Allegri plays the 5-3-2 and it turns into the 4-4-2 and then it's fluid in the final third, the 5-3-2 doesn't really deploy wingers. So now Rafael Leao is being forced to play in this striker position. And in my opinion, he's mastering it. Like game after game after game, he's going to master it. He's going to become a bit more experienced in that position. He's going to understand what he needs to do, how to play it. Once you integrate better players, I'm not going to bore you guys. Let's just look into the goals. When you look at the first goal, I truly loved the first goal. Even though there were some far better goals, I loved it because look, Milan are defending. Look at how close Pulisic and Rafeal Leao are to one another. They're deep in their own half. When it comes to scoring goals, yes, we might say it comes down to technical ability, physical ability. But at the same time, to score a goal, you need to have the mentality of wanting to get higher up the field, of wanting to get onto the end of the opportunity, of wanting to create an opportunity for yourself. You need to have that hunger. I see Rafael Leao, within a matter of 5 seconds, get himself all the way into Liverpool's own box. When 5 seconds ago, he was helping his team defend. Look at how close he is to Christian Pulisic. As soon as Milan get the ball, Rafael Leao spins. He goes. This is an instruction. When we win the ball, you charge. You have the physicality, you have the speed, you have the running power, you have the strength, and you have the X factor in the final third. And the thing that I loved about this goal, and I feel like a lot of you guys are going to know what I'm about to say. So many times last season, years prior, when Rafael Leao gets into this position, he will try chop inside. He will try the step over. He will try to overdo it, hoping and praying that he can score this perfect FIFA Street goal. When he got into that position, I told myself, go down the outside, get it on your left foot and have a strike on goal. Don't close down the angle which is currently open for you. And Rafael Leao showed that ruthless side to his game, which is there's time, there's space. I'm going to carry into the space and I'm going to put my foot through the ball. And what a lovely finish. Left foot into the roof of the net. But you could see within a matter of seconds, it's that hunger to get himself into a goal scoring position. Now, the second goal showcases Rafael Leao's ability to play as the main number 9, to play as the main attacking force. Once again, carries. He could easily go down the outside and shoot once again, scoring a replica of the first goal. But he knows, I've got a teammate coming in a better position, in a more central area. Let me play with my teammates. Football is a team game. Play with one another. And this is what I mean when I say Allegri gives players freedom of expression, but also instructs them to consistently be next to one another, to make themselves available for one another. Gives it to Loftus-Cheek, who's having a great preseason, to be completely honest. What does he do? The La Croqueta from one foot to the other, puts it into the back of the net. 2-0 Milan. But once again, Rafael Leao involved. But this time, rather than being the goal scorer, he is the creator. And then for the third goal, I feel like this was the best goal of the game. Milan once again defending. Are you beginning to see the pattern? Every single goal that Milan scored is a team goal. From them defending as a team, to them beating Liverpool's press as a team, playing out of the back as a team, creating the goal scoring opportunity as a team, and then putting it into the back of the net as a team. Fed into Rafael Leao. Now, this flick is ridiculous. This flick is ridiculous. He drags Konate with him. The flick, Konate is wrong-footed. He's now flat-footed. Konate is not the most mobile, so there's no way in hell he's getting back. The ball is spread into Salamakers, who's now, yes, you guessed it right, he's going from the wing-back into the winger position. Carries. Slots it across the box. Okafor. What a finish. Like, the goals that Milan scored, yes, they might all fall into the category of counter-attack, but at the end of the day, counter-attacking is not that easy. There still needs to be a system behind it. You need to have players that can create, convert those opportunities. And I feel like we saw that to a very high level, and it's only 2-3 weeks into Allegri's camp, into players being integrated into the team. Listen, it's positive. I'm being completely honest with you guys. It's positive, and I have to say this. If Milan had done this against Melbourne All-Stars, I would have said it's impressive, but take it with a pinch of salt. Milan have done this against Premier League champions who had 7-8 first-team starters on the pitch. Now, yes, pre-season, some teams take their foot off the gas. At the end of the day, quality is quality. And I'm pretty certain Arne Slot is now not sat laughing with these players because they've just lost 4-2 and they've conceded more than 5, 6, 7, 8 opportunities. You play what's in front of you. And Milan genuinely made the Premier League champions look like they were easy work. And because of that, I have to credit Allegri for the tactical changes, for the fact that he's taken a year out of the game, but he's modified his tactics. He's made them suit the modern game more. And most importantly, he is not misprofiling. Sergio Conceição, in my opinion, was a specialist of misprofiling players in his Milan setup. Allegri is putting the right players in the right areas, in the right position, and making sure he's putting the right players around them so they can play as a team. Now, if you're new, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys on another one.